Hi Soul Family, it's Sina and Shar here, coming to you with a reading, with from the Akashic healing that we're trying to do here. And I already have the cards laid out because this is the second time I'm trying to do this reading, and I've been unable to get through the reading fast enough before the time shuts off. So with that being said, moving forward. So the first card that we got to pull what this is going to be about is we got the Seven of Scrolls. And here, the Seven of Scrolls really talks about building. Everything that gets built little by little. You see all the rubble that's right there, and he's just picking up, he's picking up each piece, and he's planning everything out, and he's measuring stuff, and he's taking his time to make sure that things are going really well, and he's building his castle. He's rebuilding. The second card that we got was the One of Keys, and this is the Architect. And I thought that was very interesting how those go kind of hand in hand, because it's kind of the same thing. You see them, the Architect's standing there, and he's showing the Queen, what they're building, and what's going to be standing for years and years to come. And that comes from being meticulous in what you're doing and taking your time, and the details are what the small things. It's the small things, the details, paying attention to details that make for the bigger things to hold together. And so the feeling that I've gotten around this reading here is more about I know that I said that I wasn't going to do twin flame energies, but there really is seeming to be an ending at play here. And so I wanted to, and rebuilding to be done. Like, the damage is already done. It's time to stop and rebuild. And I want to be able to address something that a lot of the readers either do not address, or when they do address it, they downplay it. And that is about the twin flame union that doesn't happen. The twin flame couple that were not able to get it together after all the damage that was done on their running and karmic relationships. And sometimes not being able to get it together. One twin doesn't want to be in union. One twin, might not really feel that you see the benefit of healing, or even seeing that there is a need for healing. And so now what would happen is people say, oh, well, that's just a catalyst or a karmic partner, or maybe they're not they're the false twin. And sometimes it's not that way. Sometimes it really is 100%. You're a twin, not a catalyst, not a false twin, but 100% your twin. And maybe part of your journey was not coming into union, but here in the 3D, but coming together, recognizing which each of you are, and then going off of your separate ways to hold the collective on either side. And so it's really about coming back together with you in your oneness, and them in their oneness, and meeting up in the 5D. So there seems to be a lot of heavy energy around this, and everything is by divine right. And if you're on the twin flame journey, then you know that we're ascending here. Gaia's ascending, and that everything is by divine timing and by divine right, and everything is being done for the highest and best good of everybody involved. So hopefully, welcome first of all to those that are new to this channel, and those that have been with me for a second. Hopefully we did our homework during the last week, which was the healing part of that was meditating and really getting to know our energy system, our chakras and our bodies and our energies. Because this is when things are going to start coming together for the audience that I am reading for. So what I'm looking at right now is I have male, or the masculine divine, masculine because it's an energy. What the masculine sees in the feminine divine, the feminine, and what she sees in the masculine. So in the heart of this is really around the energy of the relationship as it stands right now. So we're going to go ahead and start with the divine male. And I'm using the vice versa cards right now. And right here is the Nine of Swords. That's the card that we got. The Nine of Swords reversed. See, this is what the front looks like. But we got the Nine of Swords reversed. And this card really talks about leaving the dark night of the soul, getting to the end. You see, like, you know, the floating swords in front of him look a lot like, you know, like beams of light. You know, you can see the outside of his chambers, or like wherever it looks like he's kind of locked up, like maybe in a cell, and you can see outside the window that the sun is shining, and these swords are looking like, instead of like, you know, before they were like kind of like lightning bolts just kind of stabbing at him, you know, they've turned into more like just kind of, there's light at the end of the tunnel is where that's at. And so that's a 9. And for clarification on that, I'm using the Rider-Waite. And I have the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups, you know, is the arrival of love. But you see, he's facing away from the divine feminine side there. So, you know, maybe he's falling in love again. And we should be happy for that. We should allow, because we want to love our divine masculines to the point that I would rather them be happy without me than to be miserable with me. And so somebody is bringing him out of the dark night of the soul. And that's good. That's good stuff. But it doesn't really feel like it's the divine feminine that's doing that. So, but I guess we'll find out right now, what does he think about the divine feminine? Or the part, you know, the part of the relationship. And the first thing that we have here is the Six of Chalice. And right here, you know, all the cups are full. See, there's the front of the Six of Chalice, and that's like, you know, meeting somebody or having kind of memories or wishful thinking of things. But this right here goes to show that, you know, his head's in the clouds right now. His heads are in the clouds. His cups are full right now, and he's feeling like he's in love. Clarified by the Queen of Pentacles. And so that's kind of crazy that it would say this, because the Queen of Pentacles does feel very, like, you know, you might be dealing with an earth sign, but it does really have a divine feminine feel to that. So, you know, maybe he is thinking that of coming out of the dark night of the soul, but the thing is that he's facing away from that Knight of Cups there is facing away from the Queen. So I guess we'll see here further on what we see with that, if it'll make more sense. So then we're going to start with the divine feminine over here on this side, and we have the Queen of Wands. And with the Queen of Wands, and see, it's in reverse, and here is the front of the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands, again, dealing in earth signs. So Virgo, Taurus. Oh, let's see. So in any event, you can see that her throne is completely covered in vines, showing like how organic everything is, like how she's very connected to everything around her. You know, she's sitting there and she's looking out at everything in front of her. You know, and sitting here in this chair, looking at her, you know, the forest is behind her, but we can see that there's an open field that she's looking at in front of her. And she's very sturdy and very connected to everything around her. So she's feeling like she's becoming grounded with what she's doing in her energy. We have the Nine of Swords reversed. Now the Nine of Swords reversed, you know, oh, that's interesting, because look, we had the Nine of Swords reversed on this side too. Is the feminine coming out of hard times? Things are going to get better. That's crazy. So, you know, maybe it is the divine feminine that he's thinking of, because they're marrying each other. You know, they both ended up with the Nine of Swords. They sure did. They both ended up with the Nine of Swords. Interesting. And we have and seeing if I turn it, yeah, you know what? And he is facing the Queen when I'm laying him down and looking at him rather than trying to show them. So, yeah. So, you know, the divine masculine maybe really trying to come back and looking at the Queen and for what that is. And, you know, the 6 there is about being in love. Now, she's feeling like she's walking away, because the divine feminine here feels like she's walking away from the relationship. We have the 8 of Chalices here. See, and if it was on the front side, you'd see that you know, childlike love and feeling all these cups are full. There's a, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a shooting star in the background, you know, and wishes. But that's not what we got. What we ended up with was with the sun and the moon. Oh, that is so crazy. So check this out. So as I'm doing that, I have a dish here, and look at that. Sun and the moon. So yeah, so for me, that's just, you know, synchronicity on that things are not what they seem. You know, so even though she's walking away, and deceptions and lies is generally what I would get with the Eight of Cups in reverse, except for with a little bit of synchronicity there, right there in my face. I think that things just aren't what they seem right now. So let's see what the clarity on this one is. Oh, look at that. It's the Page of Swords reversed. Now, let me get this down here so I can really get it. Because, you know, with the Page of Swords, you know, it really, pages donate messages or like letters or phone calls or texts or whatever, but we have this in reverse, and it's, let's see, an untrustworthy bearer of news, so that she feels that whatever is going to happen if he comes this way, that she's not really feeling very trustworthy with him. So, you know, he's probably coming out of lies and deception, and even though he's coming out of the dark night of the soul, and he's coming at her, you know, with love offerings, and really, you know, getting his heads are in the clouds. He's having, you know, his cups are full of memories and all that, like, you know, probably at nighttime, you know, when it's time to go to bed, you know, he's thinking of her, probably dreaming of her. But it's really hard for the divine feminine to recognize that right now. So then we're going to go down, we're going to go continuously down this way now, and let's find out, where is the divine masculine's headspace right now? Like, what is he thinking? What is he feeling right now? And we have right here is the Five of Wands in reverse. That's what it looks like in the front. Like, you know, so in the front here you see two guys, and they're kind of going back to back, and they are sparring. But here it seems to get a little bit more dangerous. These two guys are like really starting to fight. You know, volcanoes are erupting. Like things are getting ready to come to light at this point, I think. So the masculine's headspace, really, it feels like there might be a karmic partner with the divine feminine, or some type of there's a male figure. You know, there's some kind of energy that is connected to the divine feminine, because that's, you know, that's what we have next here. We have this thing, you know, we have her in, you know, in his headspace for her, seeing her as like the Nine of Pentacles again. That's again an earth sign, and feeling like, you know, she's alone, but she's stable and sturdy in what it is that she's doing. But we'll come back to that here in a moment. But because this one really feels like something's getting ready to come to a head with a third party here. Let's see what the clarifier is. The clarifier is the Fool. And so, you know, generally, for me, the Fool is like, you know, really carefree, getting ready to just kind of take a leap of faith, but it's also a no card. And so it really feels to me that whatever's happening right here, it's like I said, it's coming to a head. People are getting ready to jump off a cliff. Things are getting kind of heavy with the divine masculine, and I think that people need to start kind of looking around and seeing like how safe are they at this point, because things are the energy is really feeling like what started out as a friendly banter has now exploded into a full-on raging situation here. So we have again a 9. We have a 9, the of Pentacles here, and she's, you know, she's just kind of hanging out in her garden, kind of all carefree, and even at night she's still kicking it in her garden and in the moonlight with her birds, and like, you know, so this just goes to show that she seems to be very very okay in her own space, which was, where was that at up here? Yeah. I got the same energy with the Queen too. being very connected to the things that are around her, being outside, the garden, being very organic, pets. So I'm really getting the feeling that she feels like she's okay with things, while that she's okay and things are winning kind of for her, but he feels like he's getting ready to go into battle almost. Let's see what the clarifier is for that. Oh wow, and here it is again. So we have the Five of Cups. For her, it still feels like walking away from love. But you see, there's 2 cups left back here. But for the divine feminine, and we're talking about, this is the divine masculine side, and like what his heart space around her, what he thinks about, or his head space around her, and he thinks that, she is walking away. He can see that. That's the energy that he's feeling. But there are those 2 cups that are behind him. And behind her, and he thinks that he can turn it around. Like, maybe if he comes, strong enough, he still feels like that he can come in and do something about this. And see but for the divine feminine, yet again we pull another 9, and 9s are seeming to be the number of the day right now. We have the 9 of Swords on both sides up here. Yeah, we sure do. So we have the 9 of Wands here in the divine feminine's headspace. And in her headspace, she's like, the battle is over. Like, I've fought. This has been a hard, rough battle. See, if it was in the front, if it was facing forward, it would show that she's inviting him in. Like, hi, come on in. Where things are good, but there's a reverse, and he's just kind of standing there, like, angry, and it probably has a lot to do with what's going on right here. I mean, the battle's been fought hard, so she's kind of looking at him like that. What's the clarifier on that? Oh, and she sees him as coming hard and aggressive. So she sees that. So her headspace right now says that she can recognize that his anger is building and that a battle is going to ensue, but she feels like it's not really around. It's about her, not around her. So then let's see what the heart of that is in the relationship. And here we have the 7 of Pentacles, and you see she's there's still fruit on these trees, but it looks like a really barren, desolate type of landscape going on there. And so I guess she's kind of feeling like, hey, you know what? There might be something left, but it would have to come hard. He'd have to really show. And see what the clarifier is on that. Look at that. The 5 of Wands. And I seem to have been getting this card a lot lately, the 5 of Wands. And that can, that's a lot of people fighting. So this is more than just these 2 fighting. It's coming to a head with a lot of people that are involved in this, but that's probably a good thing, because look at what's happening. Like literally, and it doesn't matter if he's sitting there with his back to you or if he's sitting there with his facing you. It is the same sad, desolate freaking story. Like, he's gonna have to dig up that last root, that last tree, and try to take that home. And so basically, trying to be coming into union, for the 2 of them to come into union right now. The divine masculine, even though he says, I'm coming, I'm coming towards you. I'm not giving up on this completely and totally yet. I'm coming out of the dark night of the soul. I recognize that this is what's happening, and I'm having memories of you, and I love you, and I want to come back to you, and I see you as my queen. I see you as my stable woman. That's what he's saying, and he's willing to fight for you around this, because he really believes that you're the one and that he can win you back. And she's saying, well, I too am coming out of the dark night of the soul with my 9 of Swords in reverse, but I'm really content right now being organic and getting into my energy and really doing my work right now. And I am walking away from love because I see things as deception, even though we now realize that the sun and the moon here is not so much deception as everything is not said yet. Like, we don't know what that is. But we do have the Page of Swords in reverse, which you're finding out news about it. But, what am I getting from this right here? I just, every time I pick that up, I'm not sure that I'm feeling it as a reverse, because I'm really starting to, I'm actually feeling like guardian angels right here. So I'm not sure that this card really wanted to be in reverse. So I'm going to intuitively just flip it over, because something's just telling me that she's doing a lot of praying. She's doing a lot of connecting. So if there is something that's unseen and there's going to be any kind of news around it, it is, like I said earlier, by divine right, by divine timing. Everything is happening for a reason. We are all players in this. We all knew what we were getting into. It's our job to do the work, to remember, to get out of it. That's just kind of, we're ascending, and that's what it is. And it's also kind of being fun, being in the flesh, like being able to start manifesting and start getting things done. But there seems to be some divine interception here that's allowing her to recognize that he put in work for the battle, that he came to her aid, and that he fought the battle against a lot. Like, there's a lot of people involved in this, and he has a shovel. He's resting for a second, but he's willing to pick up and bring whatever is home last home. So then here we have in the bottom row kind of what the outcome is. What is the outcome of these two things? So the first one, for the divine masculine, we have the Emperor in reverse. And, I'm not... And there's that star and that moon again. I think I'm going to look that one up, the Emperor in reverse, see what that says, because I want to be able to make sure that everybody's getting the information that they need. Let's see. Okay, the Emperor, so this is that side. The Emperor looks out upon a vista of his empire. Fair skies betoken good fortune, and high cliffs shelter the verdant valley below. From the vantage point, the Emperor keeps vigilant, which over all those in his care. He draws his power from the source, symbolized on his throne. The rewriting or the renewing of energy of the sun, the alchemical soul force of sulfur, and the embracing moon of the feminine power embodied in the Empress. So when you get this side of the reading, you bear your responsibilities well, and you can be justifiably proud that you have accomplished. But the strictness with which you go about your duties is taking a toll on you. Not everything has to be set in stone. Leave some room for growth, change. If you are afraid to face the darker parts of yourself, then you won't be able to help others with their darkness. So, it's going to show that, yeah, this change is coming, but there is some inner work that he has to do to make it there. And I can see where he could be afraid of that. Let's see. Oh, and then look, we got the Chariot movement going forward, just taking the Emperor and going with it. So yeah, he's the divine masculine is definitely trying to come forward, and his heart space around that. We have the, let's see here. Is that the Death card? I believe this is the Death card, but I want to make sure. There's the back of it right there. There's the front of it. And it's 13. So let's see what 13 is. Seems to me that, yeah, it is the Death card. I was right. Okay. So, the Death card's always, the Death card in the tarot reading is always good. It's the end of a cycle. It's the ending of whatever battles that are going on, and just really being able to come forward and doing something different. So when this card is a fearsome sight indeed, but do not fear, for it rarely signifies an impending death. It is a reminder that mementos mori, the death comes to everyone and everything. In fables, those who try to evade death always fails. Something has ended or is about to end, and there's no escaping that. Release what is no longer serving you and make way for the new. So let's see, make way for the new, because if he's trying to get back to the divine, oh look, it's the Hanged Man. Okay, so, and I'm really getting the feeling that the new in this is whatever, if it's karmic partners, if it's addiction, drugs, alcohol, or just a way of life that's just coming to an end. And in order to achieve what he's looking for, he's just going to have to let some of that go. So you know, you might be losing some friends and losing some different things, but letting it go. And right now in his heart space, even though it shows going around his head, he's thinking about that. You know, you have the Hanged Man, but you see that, you know, one foot's down, so he's not totally bound up, and we don't know what's going on really behind his back right there, but we know that his mind's going. So he's thinking that he needs to make some of these changes, and he's going to try to make that. For the Divine Feminine, we have the Ace of Swords, and we also have the Queen of Swords. And this is how she's kind of feeling about the situation right now in her heart space. She's loyal to the end. She's loyal to the end. And she's always ready to take that battle forward if need be. Now you see it's in reverse, because if it was forward, there would be on a sunny day, and you know, it looks like the hand is like really stable on that sword. But here, you're not quite sure where that's going. Like it's not really sturdy on the sword. It looks like a rocky path ahead. So she's kind of bracing herself for anything to come. Let's see. And then we have the Page of Wands. Again, the page is another one of bringing in communication, and we had that one up here. Yeah, indication of messages and things to come. So she's going to hear about this, and probably soon, and she's bracing herself for that. But the thing is that in her heart space, she's so fiercely loyal. Like she will ride or die. That's a ride or die kind of girl right there, no matter what. And that's clarified by, oh wow, look at that, the Eight of Cups again, with the Moon. And this and in this energy right here, there is deception, and there is lies, and there is walking away from love. And she's still willing to ride and die, no matter how many times all this deception and lies and whatever else keeps coming into play. Or she has been a ride or die kind of girl. I'm not sure that she's still willing to do that. We've got an awful lot of swords here, you know, and so when I'm looking down at this and I'm looking at all these swords, we're way outweighing the cups. With the swords, you know, she's really bracing herself for a battle. You know, we got the Page of Swords here. We got both Nines of Swords are out on both sides. We got the Ace of Swords and the Queen of Swords. But we also, and when it comes to any of our cups, look at our love. Look at the emotional part of this reading, you guys. We have the Five of Cups. Didn't we have the Five of Cups up here? And we had the Eight of Cups right here. And then it seems like we had something else in cups around here. That was very similar. Yeah, and then we had the Eight of Cups here. And so the feminine has had the Eight of Cups on both her sides. Or actually all of these cups. Every single one of these are on the feminine side. So she's walking away. She's looking like, no, I'm done with this. I'm not crying over spilled milk anymore. I'm not fighting anymore. You know, and she's trying to get ready to get into that battle space right there. That's what the feminine's doing right now. You know, and she's waiting. She's waiting for indications of the message, and she's waiting. And what she's waiting for him to just come in, boom, come flying in, and bring that battle on. You know, and when he's not around, she's sitting in her space and her peace, and is really connected. But she sees this as a broken down, desolate, like there's like one hope left, and she's not really feeling like the Divine Masculine is going to be able to pull off coming in with that one trait. Like he's going to miss that opportunity. Like he seems to like miss it a lot on a run, or like doesn't seem to care. But with him, on the other hand, he's like, no, I'm coming out of my dark night of the soul, and I'm coming to you, and I'm bringing this to you because you're what I think about, and this is what I love, you know. I want to get my head out of the clouds. I want to come back down, you know, and there's an angel on this side that's working it, okay? So that's really what she's looking at there, you know, but he also realizes that it's going to be hard, you know. There's a battle that's coming out of this right here that he's not ready for, and he's kind of feeling like the fool around it, but he's willing to take that leap of faith, and when this battle starts, because at the end of the day, it is his queen that he's coming for, you know. We have the Chariot right here that shows movement coming forward quickly. We have the Emperor here. Like those two really go, you know, they go well together. And then we have death and the hangman. Like, that doesn't say something, huh? About endings, you know, hangings and death. But there's also sunshine up here, and the same kind of energy down here. Like, that's new beginnings, and that's the thinking of things and working things out. So I guess we're going to see what that looks like. You know, in this whole energy, you know, it's really feeling like the divine masculine knows that it's like that we are working on our like, literally there could still be fruit here, but it's literally like the last freaking, this is it. It's a ride or die situation. And he's sitting there looking at it like, he's like, I'm battling some stuff, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And remember, in the way beginning there, we had gotten the Seven of Scrolls along with the One of Keys, which again is rebuilding after things fell apart, after like the Tower moment, and really building it into something massive, major, and for years to come. So even though that was a very, I don't know, energetically, I didn't expect that out of reading, and I'm actually quite excited about how that went, regardless of how I might sound. I'm just shocked because I just didn't see this coming at all, where she's walking away and the divine masculine is finding this energy. Let me see, what do we have here? We have 7. Here we have 13s, 5s. I want to see what kind of this is looking like here. We have 8s and 5s. We have a lot of 9s in here, that's for sure. 9s are, you know, for the endings of things. We definitely have a lot of 9s in here. Let's see, that's a 6 there, but I know I have another 9 like right here. We have a 9 here. So we have a lot of 9s going on here. We also have a lot of 5s. You know, 5s is movement, is change. 5s are for change, 9s for endings. So we have endings coming, and we have a lot of change coming here. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Yeah, 7. We got a couple 8s going on in here because we have the 8. Oh, look, there's another 5 too. And you know, the thing is that we do have the Chariot, which is also, oh, that's a 7. We have the Chariot and the Emperor that are very strong masculine energies. But you know, there's a lot of pages and knights and wands, or yeah, the pages and knights are also in here. And so it really feels to me like the masculine is finding some kind of renewed energy. I think that's what this card said. You know what? Let me read that out of the book. I think that card right there talks about having a rebirth of energy. That's the 6 of Cups in reverse. Let's see here. The 6 of Chalices. That's what they call it in the vice versa. The 6 of Chalices in reverse. Let's see what it says. That side. So it says here, the young lovers have apparently lost track of time. The cozy town is golden with lamplight, and the starry sky is more brilliant than there had ever been before. Oh, this is a twin flame kind of card. So check this out. So on this side, in the beginning, that's the young lovers that they're talking about. A pretty maiden is enjoying a swim in a canal outside her home. She has no fear of the boy approaching her. She knows that she is safe in her pleasant and prosperous town. She trusts that his intentions are honorable. They exchange greetings, shy flirtatious smiles, and 6 chalices filled with spring flowers symbolize the innocent and the delight of new love. You know, and that's kind of like how, you know, twin flames feel when they first meet. So anyhow, the lovers have apparently lost track of time. You know, they're getting back together. Their cozy town is golden with lamplight, and the starry sky is more brilliant than any have seen before. Will they ever be another evening as beautiful as this? Maybe not, but still, Papa says it's time to go in and say goodnight. So it's about, you know, really getting your heads out of the cloud. But be optimistic about what you're looking at and really going for that.